I have endured so much since that fateful night. My son, he has done so much, hurt so many people, and part of me feels it is my fault. This is not just the old stereotypical blaming of mothers when children go wrong. It is something else. I tried my best. I really did. Maybe I should have made a different choice that night when my son was still a teenager. I don't know. I just know that, as always, I was only acting in his best interest, and that I will always love and support him, no matter what he does. I am his mother after all. That night, I was waiting for my son Nick to return home when my phone dinged. I looked down at my son's name, flashing on my screen. Will asked me over to his place. Can I go, plus? I immediately texted back. No, absolutely not. Home by 9, please. I simply could not come to terms with my son's and his friends' apparently insatiable need to spend all weekend evenings together. And God knows what they got up to after dark. Ding. Please, please, Mom. Everybody is going will ask me to go. I was about to text back something like, when Will pays your bills, you can follow him wherever he asks. But then I felt a sudden change of heart. There was no point in refusing. He would just sneak off after I fell asleep. And how could I really refuse my darling son anything anyway? How could I make him upset and miserable, excluded from his friend group? He was the light of my eyes, the beat of my heart. Okay, picking up 11, 30, no drinking drugs. Tax Mom Lovu, I love her too. My last text remained unread. I sighed. Another long, lonely Saturday evening. I dully thought about watching or eating something. I hated being alone in the evenings. My old fears and paranoias flooded me. It was hard not to spiral into dark places in my mind as I restlessly listened to the creak of the pipes in the walls, magnified and echoing around my living room. Tonight, it seemed as if the creaks were louder than ever. Something seemed to snap inside the belly of my house. I stared at the wall, which appeared to be moving, shaking and wavy. What the hell? Was it an earthquake? Our area was not prone to earthquakes. My imaginary fears gave way to sharp pangs of real horror as the front door flew open and a tall, thin man, perfectly dressed in a beautiful dark blue suit, complete with a crisp white shirt and a Cheshire cat smile, entered and stood before me. "Hello, Lisa," he exclaimed in a friendly voice. His eyes were blank, like small silver discs of nothingness. The walls stopped heaving, and the pipes were silent. Dead quiet reigned in the room. Front door slammed shut. I jumped but couldn't say anything. I just stared at him. "I've come to take you," he said brightly. I shook my head. He stretched out his hand and said in a slightly softer tone, "Come along, my dear. It won't be as bad as you've been told." "No," I gasped. "Please. I have to be here for my son. I'm all he has. He's only 16. His grin grew deeper, running all the way around his head. "You silly woman, why do you think I'm here?" I shook her head mutely, refusing to believe. "Sad, but true, my dear. He sold your soul to be able to go to Will's party. Anyway, don't worry. Lilybeth here will care for him. He snapped his fingers, and then for the first time I noticed a woman's figure standing silently beside him. I don't know how she got in. Her face, I can't describe how terrible her face was. A distorted face with sharp angled teeth jutting out, a demon face if there ever was one. Lilybeth, you stupid cunt, your face, snapped the blue-suited man. I blinked, the womanly figure seemed to flicker, and I found myself staring at a woman who looked exactly like me. I shook my head again, willing the two to disappear, but they did not. See, Lilybeth can take perfect care of him, said the man. Lilybeth smiled, and I could see her sharp, glowing white teeth. Desperation made me find my tongue. No, this is not possible. How could you sell my soul for something he wanted? This can't be. You're lying. He rubbed his hands together. In most cases, you would be right, my poor Lisa. But for mothers and sons, that most delicious of relationships, we make an exception. Your souls are so tightly bonded in such a terrible way. Even the laws of the universe bend in awe. The transactions are different, you know. Come along, stop arguing with me. I have other things to do, places to be. And he took a step towards me, his silver eyes dancing with glee. No, I cried, I'll make another deal with you, a better deal with you. Tell me what you'd like. He raised his eyebrows, his cat grin growing, almost splitting his skull. How amusing. Let me see. Actually, I know exactly what I want. You realize the bitter truth is that even in hell, men's souls are valued more than yours, especially a fresh young man. The potential for doing evil. Oh my goodness, and paused and rubbed his hands together again, almost drooling, before continuing, and especially compared to that of a jaded old hag, if you'll pardon me for pointing out the obvious such as yourself. Call me sexist, my dear, but that's just the way it is. So his soul for yours, she will leave. I gestured at my doppelganger. He threw his head back and roared with laughter. A truly terrifying sound. Lilybeth, you are so unwanted, my poor bitch. He snapped his fingers. Lilybeth hung her head so her face was no longer visible, turned and walked slowly to the front door. She paused a second, her hand on the knob, but the man gestured impatiently and snapped, "Go on, go on." I said, "We haven't all night." She opened the door and disappeared into the darkness. There you go. No Lilybeth, just you and your precious son. But his soul is mine. I nodded mutely. Wonderful. Well, I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. I heard there is an excellent party at Will's place. I might pop in. He turned and followed Lilybeth back out. I was alone. Had I been alone all this time? I have not had a peaceful night since then. My son, Nick, well, you may have heard about some of the things he's done. Sometimes they make its way into the media. But it's not my fault. I was only trying to protect him, I swear. If you like my story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video for more and similar stories.